Welcome friends, it is I, Hi-Rez Studios, and it's time for the Short Smite Beginner Guide to Fenrir. That's right, the Unchained Melody is here, and he's gonna wreck some face, aren't you, Fenrir?
Yes.
Alright, so then, we're gonna do this as always for beginners, so there's gonna be information here that maybe experts and advanced players already know, but if they don't, well, that's amazing right there. Good, you learned something. But for the most part, you guys, it'd be great if you put in the comments anything you feel like I should have elaborated more on. That way, the beginners have more to see. That way they have more they can read and understand the god even better. So that'd be great right there. So as always, we're going to go over the abilities of Fenrir. We're going to go over the class and roles for him. We're going to go over tips and combos. Going to go over basic ideas on what you can buy for him. And then conclusion for Fenrir. As always, this is for beginners so you can get comfortable with the god, understand the god better for playing as him, and gives you an idea how to play against him a little bit as well. So let's get going. Fenrir's abilities. First up is his passive, Unbound Runes. Every basic attack landed builds a rune up to 5. At 5 full, he activates a special extra bonus on any of his abilities if he casts them, which uses up the runes. If he kills a god, he also fills up his runes. His first ability is called Unchained. This is a leap, and if it hits an enemy god, it cuts the CD in half, and if he has full runes, it does a stun as well. His second ability is Seething Hell. This is a buff to physical power and lifesteal for 6 seconds. Full runes increases buff by 50%. Third ability, Brutalize. This is a short leap that does 4 attacks on a target enemy. This is immune to knockups during the attack. At full runes, you can 75% splash damage. You can also cancel it early with right click. You can also miss a target and just jump to a spot with the attack. Lastly is Fenrir's ultimate, Ragnarok. What happens is he gets bigger, he also becomes CC immune, and he gains movement speed buff by 50% during the duration. During this time, if you left click, he does a bite. If he bites an enemy god, he can carry them for 2 seconds with him. At full runes, he gains double protections. Also, if you bite a CC immune god, it instantly ends your ultimate. Class and roles. First up is his class, and that is he is an assassin. These are physical melee gods. They're capable of doing a lot of damage through abilities or basic attacks to kill enemy gods. They usually have some form of CC and an escape. Fenrir is capable of getting into and out of very bad situations because he has 2 leaps, a stun, lifesteal, the ability to carry an enemy god wherever he wants, and lots of damage. Now, as a beginner, you want to play Fenrir in the jungle. He's just very good there. You want to farm up level 5 as quickly as possible and attempt to gank every time your ultimate is up. It's just really good at putting enemies in a bad situation because you can drag them around. Now, when the ultimate is down, you should be farming up as much as you can. You can try to still gank, but it's just better to just farm right now because your ultimate is just so useful and you can bring it up pretty often once you're built up a little bit. Now, another thing you can do is once you're built up on full runes, you can use a stun with your leap to surprise the enemy gods to set up ganks or to save teammates depending on the situation. And the same thing kind of happens for team fighting phase. You can use your stun on your leap to cause bad situations or to save teammates. You can use Brutalize to track down and finish off a god. You can use your ultimate to drag a god to a bad spot or to pull a strong god away from your teammates. And then of course there's your Howl to just heal up so you can become relevant still in the fight. Then when it comes to advanced, you can go solo with Fenrir, which is a bit tricky. You gotta really sustain yourself well there. You can stun and do your ultimate and just put your enemy in a very bad situation. He can really surprise solo laners because he's not used to fighting someone like Fenrir. But it's dependent on having very heavy pressure and getting kills to do well. And if you're not able to do that, you're gonna need your jungler to apply that pressure. But later on, you'll be able to be effective like you can be with jungle Fenrir. Then there's support Fenrir, which is surprisingly capable. You can build Fenrir tanky and be annoying as hell because of his stun and his ultimate. And you just become a problem all day because of that. And then teamfighting phase, same as before, causing a lot of trouble, and just always being an annoyance to the enemy team. Tips and combos. First up is got to do his pass, and that is build up runes before fights. It's just really good for there. You can leap in, cause some bad stunnage right there, or you can do with your ultimate, give you double the protections, which allows you to stay alive long enough to pull out an enemy god into a bad situation. Maybe even a splash on your Brutalize might be enough to cause a bad spot, so maybe you can do that as well. There's just a lot of things that it makes the runes very useful, so you want to get those built up. Get them on the minions, on the minion line, or in the jungle. Just get them really quick before a teamfight if you can. Next one has to be with, well, stun leaps. They're just great for ganks and saves. Just really useful there. Now, a nice thing about Seething Howl is that you can use that and not buy a lifesteal item if you want. Lifesteal item on top of Seething Howl can be really good as well, but you can consider not building one and build something else. Brutalize can be used for short leaps for escapes. It's pretty nice to do that sometimes. Sometimes you just surprise the enemy with that and then they can't kill you. Another Brutalize is, you can right-click to end it early if you're attacking someone. This is in case you're attacking someone who's dashing away, and they end up under tower or something. You don't want to be under tower with them. That's something you can do right there. Another tip to consider with Brutalize is using your Brutalize on opponents who have dashes. Fenrir sticks to opponents who dash, while as enemies who leap or teleport he does not stick to. It's just an interesting thing about that. And one last thing to keep in mind when using Brutalize, your opponents are not silenced while you're attacking them, so they can still kill you if you're not careful. And lastly is Ragnarok can be used to bait out beads. This is the thing is, enemies can get really scared of Ragnarok and they think you're going to bite them, then they use their beads, then you wait a moment, then you can bite them, then take them to a bad spot. Now when it comes to combos, there's two combos. That is 1-3-4-2 and 1-4-3-2, and it really depends on whether your opponent has an escape or not. Now 1-3-4-2 is you leap stun, and then you brutalize the opponent, and then use the ultimate to put your opponent in a bad spot, then use Seething Howl, and then basic attack them to death. This is useful against gods who do not have an escape. Now when it comes to the other combo, 1-4-3-2, you leap stun the opponent, then you ultimate them, put them in a bad spot, then basic attack them, then brutalize, then howl basic attack them to death. Now this is good against gods with an escape because you put them in a bad spot, then they have to jump out. You can probably follow them some more and just wreck them even worse right there. Something to note about Seething Howl, and that is, you can use it before brutalize to get more damage, or you can save it for basic attacks for the lifesteal. That's up to you which one you want to do. Purchases for Fenrir. Now this is really dependent on what role you're taking him into, and just what you're fighting, what you feel you want to do with him. Because he's just able to be built in many ways. You can build him as a basic attack god, so you can build attack speed, lifesteal, crit, and pen, or you can go for a CD power caster with power, CD, and pen, or a CD tanky support with just CD and protections, or a mix of all those things. You can do whatever you want with Fenrir, because he's just got so much damage on him through basic attacks and abilities, and a lot of CC capabilities. He's kind of a jack of all trades in that way, so he's able to be very deadly and annoying. It also really depends on what you feel you need with Fenrir, how you build him. You can just counter build the enemy team and still do well with him, because Fenrir is kind of ridiculous like that. And because of his versatility, a lot of the actives just work on him, so just experiment with what you feel works for what you need to do.
In conclusion,
Fenrir is not bound by convention. He is a very versatile god, capable of unleashing havoc on an enemy team through his world-ending kill potential and CC. Maintain runes, landing your shots, and knowing when to get in and out of situations. Learn these and you will Ragnarok your opponents. I like that I wrote that. Okay, so there you go. That is the guide right there for Fenrir. So what's going on here is you just need to just learn his abilities, of course. That's how you want to do well with every god in this game. Learning just what to build on them works out as well. Fenrir is just very versatile in what you can build with him and still succeed in, because Fenrir is kind of ridiculous in that way. So just learn how to land your stuff, knowing when to do your abilities, and just knowing what build works for you, and you'll do very well with him. Up next will be Freya, and that should be a fun god to play with. She's really good in a lot of ways, and also very glass cannon-y in a lot of ways, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. That right there is the guide. Share it with your friends, because the more people who learn how to play gods in this game, the better it is for everyone, because then everyone's just better at the game. So there you go. I had fun making this guide. Hope you had fun watching it, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.